heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Friday, the 21st day of May 2021. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are already on the roads of the Cayman Islands, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle on the roads of the Cayman Islands. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because you know what I always say after that, the life you save may just be your own. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. We're happy to have back with us that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and the 949-6990. Of course, if you don't like to talk on the telephone, then email us at For the Record. That's one word, For the Record, at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Before I get to my guests this morning, several housekeeping issues to take care of. First, let me give you the latest COVID-19 figures, the update for the 20th, yesterday, the 20th of May, 2021. Chief Medical Officer Dr. John Lee reported that 434 COVID-19 tests had been carried out since it was last reported on Wednesday, the 19th of May. All were negative. There have been 76,379 COVID-19 vaccinations given in total in the Cayman Islands. Of that, 73,379, 41,307, which represents 64% of our estimated population of about 65,000, have had at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine, and 54% have completed the 2-dose course. And Yesterday's results also included 125 vaccinations performed in the sister islands yesterday as well. So obviously, there are more persons out there who should be vaccinated. Of course, it is your decision as to whether or not you want to get the vaccination. Some persons may be reluctant to do so for medical reasons and may be doing so on the advice of their physician. Others may be just following news. I won't call it news, following rumors, taking things off social media, the negativity and the views of anti-vaxxers as well, and others may have various other reasons for not taking the vaccine. But if you care about your health and safety, and if you care about the health and safety of your friends and your families and your countrymen, then you should certainly consider and think about getting the vaccine as well. It certainly will help to save lives, and it certainly will help to reduce the level of illness that you may feel from the vaccine if you were to contract the COVID-19 as well. So again, we want to continue to urge you to go and get vaccinated. As far as the schedule is concerned, today, the 20th of May, the 21st of May, Camana Bay, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 4:30 to 7 p.m. Tomorrow, it will be at Owen Roberts International Airport from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then from 12:30 until 4 p.m. We still need to get those numbers up there, but not just simply to get the numbers up there. From an individual standpoint, it is important. It will be to your advantage if you get vaccinated for the COVID-19. With that, I can now... Oh, before we go there, no, don't want to forget this. Happy birthday. There's a birthday greetings going out to Miss Laura Henry, and that's coming from your mom, Georgette, and Celise. So happy birthday to Laura Henry, coming from your mom, Georgette, and Celise as well. So enjoy your very special day today, Miss Laura Henry. Without any further ado, it's my pleasure to have in the studio once again, we have representatives from Celebrate Cayman, the co-chairpersons, is it right? Co-chairpersons of Celebrate Cayman, Miss Marzita Bodden and Mr. Alfonso Wright. And we have a very special guest this morning as well. And her name is Miss Kim Solomon, and she's a project manager for e-government in the Cayman Islands. And I'm not going to say any more because I'm going to say good morning to everyone and then have Mr. Alfonso tell us why they're here in the studio with me this morning. I'm sure it's not because of my good looks. So
that would be the second reason. Good morning, everyone. OC, and we're happy to be here again. We give thanks to the good Lord for this opportunity to be here this morning, and also to Radio Cayman for always being here to assist us in getting the word out for the many projects that Celebrate Cayman becomes involved in. We're celebrating the year of the Seafarer, as you know. Mm-hmm. And by the way, you were missing on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I know.
Tuesday night at Seafarers.
I'm going to get some heat for that.
Yeah, you're getting it. I can tell you, Mr. Dennison, not happy with you, but I'm sure you'll make it up to him.
Yes.
are in the year of the seafarer, and the thrust that we're on now is registering all of our seafarers. You know, we honored some on last National Heroes Day, but so far we have not been able to identify the vast majority of our seafarers. So we're on a drive now to make sure that happens, so we can look after the rest of them later on this year. As Miss Marzita Bodden is the official spokesperson for Celebrate Cayman, I'm going to hand over to her, and she will speak to the details and bring Miss Kim on after.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Osi, for having us on. Good morning, Cayman. It has been a while since we've been here in Radio Cayman, but it's always good to be here. Hi, Miss Susan. So for just anyone who is listening who may not be familiar with Celebrate Cayman, you may have seen our name around the place. Maybe you haven't had the opportunity to experience what we've been doing since 2018. Celebrate Cayman is a national celebration of our culture, history, and our community. And it is a campaign by the Cayman Islands government to help to reinforce our national identity by celebrating our heritage and our culture. So from 2018, the sort of focus and anchor of the celebrations was the 60th anniversary of the Cayman Islands Coat of Arms, which is our first symbol of national identity. And then following that, we had the 60th anniversary of our first written constitution, so the guiding document of the Cayman Islands. And when you think about sort of the formation of a country, if you will, and the identity of a country, the next natural step would be seafaring. Anyone who is familiar with seafaring knows the truly integral role that it played in the development of the Cayman Islands in many ways. From its history, for sure, we are definitely people of the sea. Our identity, our society, our economy, our development. I mean, I was even thinking the other day, I wonder how many people realize that, it's Friday. Lots of people are going to go to the bank. When you are going into the bank or you're doing your banking, how many people really realize the role that seafaring played in the financial services and banking industry as we know it today? And what I mean by that is, back in the day, well before my time, the Cayman Islands only had the small government savings bank. But when our men and women went to sea and received their allotments and the money was returned home, it grew to the point where those remittances were simply too much for the small government savings bank to handle. And so that was a sort of genesis and impetus for our banking industry to start. And I mean, this is the case for many things, even the music. You may wonder, I certainly wondered, why on earth is it that so many people in this tiny island in the Caribbean love country music, for example? But it all came back to seafaring. Our seafarers went to ports around the world, but particularly many of them were sort of home based between Cayman and ports around the southeast United States. Exactly. And they would hear the music in the saloons and in the bars and stuff, and they would bring home the records and bring it back. And anybody who's had the privilege of reading the Southwell Years will have learned about the many radio stations in the United States that became sort of lifelines between seafarers and people and family back home to Cayman Islands. We didn't have cell phones then. So they used those radio stations, to send messages back and forth to each other and listen to those broadcasts. And they were more often than not country music stations. So, I mean, there's so many things that make up who we are in the Cayman Islands, and it got its genesis, its beginnings in seafaring. So, like I said, we had the coat of arms, first written constitution, and now our seafaring heritage. And we are celebrating that in many ways. Like Mr. Alfonso said just now, we in collaboration, of course, with the Ministry of Culture and Protocol Office, supported celebrating seafarers at our National Heroes Day. And I think this was the first time in history there was a 3-day weekend because there were so many incredible, exceptional seafarers to recognize. But as Alfonso alluded to just now, there are thousands of seafarers there and lots of people that we want to celebrate and recognize. But we don't have a national record of these individuals who helped to build our country. And people may say, well, if seafarers were contributing so much, why was there not a national record? Well, the reality is that many of these seafarers were hired by an entity that was not the Cayman Islands government to provide a service, in the national boat carriers and and so forth. So we didn't have a complete national record accessible of all these seafarers, and we do have some resources at the moment that you can access. We have, members of the Cayman Island Seafarers Association. We have members of the Veteran Seamen Society of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Obviously, some seafarers take up the opportunity to get the ex gratia payments from the government, but it's still truly not a complete list.
Okay.
And the reality is we want to have a complete list. So that's where the register comes in, and that's what we're talking about today.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you there so that we can take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On June 22, 1863, the Act for the Government of the Cayman Islands became law, which made all British acts that were valid in Jamaica apply to the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands were made subordinate to Jamaica in two respects. First, the Supreme Court of Jamaica was to have jurisdiction over islands for legal action, which could not lawfully be tried in the Cayman Islands, and it gave the Governor of Jamaica the right to exercise authority over the Cayman Islands. Although certain powers were reserved for Jamaica, the local legislature in Cayman was finally recognized.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist. Step right up, the second annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Ballroom. Step right up supports the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving precious life. The Rotary Central Gala, The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist, sponsored and supported by Wheaton Precious Metals, Nelson Attorneys at Law, Massive Equipment, Cayman Spirits. Rotary opens opportunities.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vamt Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vamtmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling.
Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. all-new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes! Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Whether you're finishing a new condo, upgrading your rental property, or simply renovating, make Roper's Enterprises your first stop. Quality furniture at a fraction of the price. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices. Roper's, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Roper's Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Your home deserves a quality finish. Visit their showroom or shop online at ropers.ky. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
This Saturday, May 22nd, the vaccination challenge is heading to Cayman Brac. Join Minister of Tourism and Transport, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, and Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Sabrina Turner, at the Aston Rutty Medical Wing from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a meet and greet with the community as you get vaccinated. And remember, anyone being vaccinated through June 9th will be entered into the Vaccination Challenge prize draw for prizes, including airline tickets, staycations, and more.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning the co-chairs of Celebrate Cayman, Ms. Marzita Bawden and Mr. Alfonso Wright. Also with us, Ms. Kim Solomon, who is the project manager at e-Government in the Cayman Islands. We're going to be talking about the Seafarers Registry. But, of course, in order for us to get there, we have to update you and familiarize you with all of the other things that have been going on as far as celebrating seafarers, because that is being done throughout the whole year of 2021. So back over to you, Ms. Marzita.
Thank you. So I think where we left off was that over the National Heroes Day weekend, we had 3 days of celebration and recognizing our most exceptional seafarers in the sister islands, in the eastern districts, and then, of course, in Hero Square in Georgetown. And it was a wonderful celebration. And I think that, we truly honored and thanked our seafarers for their service, as we should do every single day of the year. And then in February, there was the groundbreaking and site dedication celebration for Seafarers Park, which is the former Tower Building site. And anyone who's not familiar with where that is, it's just across the street from the Cayman Cabana area or the Fisherman's Market. That's the site of the former Tower Building. And that is going to be a public green space in downtown Georgetown, which I know people have been wanting for a very, very long time and be looking forward to. But in addition to being a community space for a gathering and connecting and enjoying the outdoors, it's also going to be a sort of living museum to seafaring with the installations and the monuments, the overall design and concepts and everything is going to be dedicated to seafaring and giving people an opportunity to interact with and learn a bit more about our seafaring heritage as well. So that happened in February. And then, like everybody else, we were awaiting to see sort of the way forward for the country with our general election.
Yes.
But in the background, Celebrate Cayman, along with e-Government, the Seafarers Association, National Archive, we're working on this special project, the Seafarers Registry, and we're really excited that later this afternoon that finally launches. So the Seafarers Registry is, for the first time, a searchable national registry of seafarers that contains information about individual seafarers and their contributions to seafaring. And so, like I said, this is a public resource that's dedicated specifically to capturing and cataloging information about seafarers. And people might be saying, okay, well, where does that information come from? That's where every single one of you who can hear my voice comes in, because we are crowdsourcing this information. So in the same way that, the public has been fantastic over the past 3 years with contacting us and reaching out to us and providing us with information. We're wanting you to do that now around seafaring and seafarers, and there's a place for you to do that. So Kim, who is here with us today, she has been on this project from day one. I think we started in 3rd of February or something like that.
February 8th.
February 8th, yes. And Kim with the team from e-Government, the director, Mr. Ian Tibbetts, the technical architect, David Smith, and Kim, they've been working on this, and we went to them and we said, we need a national register of seafarers, and here is why. And Alfonso talked about this earlier, is we want to be able to have a full list of people who contributed to seafaring so that we can celebrate them individually as they rightfully should be this year. And we also realize that for generations to come, having a historical record and being able to access that is going to help to reinforce our identity, but also helps us safeguard and celebrate our heritage and our culture. And if we want to talk about seafaring being an integral part of this country's foundation, then we have to have that record,
Certainly, yes.
there. Yes.
Okay, we've reached the top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, there's one voice that you haven't heard yet on here, and that's the voice of Miss Kim Solomon, but she's the technical expert, and we will certainly be hearing from her when we return after the 8 o'clock news. So don't change that dial. Lots of information that you need to hear about the Seafarers Registry and how its launch and how you can go about ensuring that your loved ones, that their history is recorded here in the Cayman Islands. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time by Price Right is 8 o'clock.
At Priced Right, we believe you can live better for less.
And in our warehouse sales this week, you'll find the Oster stainless steel front microwave oven from only $59.99. Save $20.
We also have Scott bath tissue, 20-roll pack for only $16.99. Save $4. And the Mercury portable grill with wheels for just $39.99. Save $7.
Sale ends Wednesday, May 26th, 2021. Live better for less at Priced Right.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a not-for-profit, member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. We have an all-in expense ratio of less than 1%, over 20,000 members, and $490 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for our employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or require further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Today is the official launch of the Cayman Brac and Little Cayman 2021 Population and Housing Census. Radio Cayman's April Cummings reports.
Starting at 10 a.m. at the District Administration Building in Cayman Brac, the official launch aims to showcase the importance of the census and will feature a presentation on population and community life over the years, the release of the 2021 census song, and special remarks from the Minister and Member of Parliament, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor-Conley, Member of Parliament Mr. Moses Kirkconnell, and Financial Secretary Mr. Kenneth Jefferson. The event will also provide an opportunity for people to sign up to become Census 2021 workers. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
On Grand Cayman, the official launch will be at the Marriott Beach Resort on Wednesday, May 26th from 10 until 11. The census will be taking place in October. And final applications are being sought from Cayman University students who are studying or intend to study medicine or allied health at Health City Cayman Islands as they gear up for their summer internship program. Here's Radio Cayman's Shanda Gallego with more.
Health City officials say the Health City Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship provides Caymanian University students with experience in a rich learning environment and access to a team of specialist physician mentors and supervisors.
Participating in our summer internship program is a great way to learn about careers in medicine, gain exposure to clinical and research opportunities, and have enriching hands-on experience.
Chief Business Officer at Health City Cayman Islands, Shamari Scott, says there are opportunities for up to 10 interns and are offering students a U.S. $1,000 stipend.
Our program has been developed over many years with considerable focus on offering interns broad exposure during their training. We provide a welcoming environment, a comprehensive orientation, a broad case mix with great learning opportunities and strong supervision and teaching.
Now in its 7th year, SURF is an annual research and shadowing opportunity for Caymanian students on a medical or pre-medical track. SURF 2021 will take place July 6th through to July 30th, 2021 in a hybrid learning format. Eligible candidates for SURF will be currently enrolled as an undergraduate at or a recent graduate of an accredited university, be candidates for a degree program leading to further studies or qualification in a medical field, be in good academic standing with or have graduated with a GPA of 3.0 or higher, Caymanian or permanent resident, and at least 18 years old by July 6th, 2021. Applications are due by May 24th, 2021. Shanda Gallego, Radio Cayman News.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described the military operation against Hamas as game-changing, as both sides claim victory in the 11-day conflict. He said the operation caused maximum losses to Hamas while minimizing Israeli casualties. Officials in Gaza say that 5 bodies had been found in heavily bombed tunnels. The World Health Organization says the real number of coronavirus-related deaths is likely to be much higher than the 3.4 million people officially reported. It said that between 6 and 8 million was a more realistic figure. Spain has set out plans to reopen to foreign holidaymakers, saying tourism will be key to its economic recovery. Visitors from safer countries such as Britain, China and Japan will be welcome from Monday. Fully vaccinated tourists from all countries will follow from the 7th of June. The EU says it intends to donate at least 100 million doses of coronavirus vaccines to low and middle-income countries by the end of the year. The Commission President, Ursula von der Leyen, said improving access to COVID jabs was currently one of the most urgent tasks. There are reports of heavy fighting in the Afghan province of Maidan Wardak. A local MP said Taliban militants had managed to capture some government buildings in the Jalrez district, about 60 kilometres from the capital, Kabul. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is proudly sponsored by the Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. For further information, please visit chamberpension.ky.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
I'm looking for a new pizza joint with that perfect crust. My car needs a bit of a tune-up, and my pregnant wife needs something from the pharmacy. So I turned to the printed yellow directory, and in an instant, the pizzas are ordered, the oil change is booked, and the thing that I'm not allowed to say out loud has been purchased for my wife. Problem solved. When you need something quick, do yourself a favor. Flip through the printed yellow directory. Stop searching, start finding. Yellow, we know local.
Ray, my good friend, are we ready for another? See what I say?
Yeah, man. The topic this time is Christopher Columbus, his fourth voyage, the one that's supposed to discover us. What do you know about that?
So they said it was Columbus. They said it was the fourth and final voyage, and Columbus sailed the sea.
Keep going, Dwayne.
1503?
Yeah.
Was it May 10th?
That's what they say.
Christopher Columbus, was it him?
Yeah, except it wasn't Christopher Columbus that noted it. It was his young son, Ferdinand. And it wasn't Grand Cayman. It was most likely, or it sounds like, it was the Sister Islands.
Could have been the South Key or the Bakaski?
No.
All right.
Sound like Sister Islands. This Friday, Siwa Sain
is a special feature of Talk Today with contributions from the National Museum, a language, history, and culture show on Radio Cayman 89.9 and 93.9 FM.
He had 3 ships. The Ninja.
What were they?
The Pinta and the Santa Maria.
Yeah, except it wasn't them that he was on.
Who was on a donkey? A raft?
Join us Friday and we'll tell you.
See what I say.
See what I'm saying.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
We asked 100 people what they would do with a little extra time. Top answers included hang with friends, sleep, volunteer, walking on the beach, watch TV. But the odd thing is, no one said, stand in line to pay my bill. Funny that. Now Logic introduces Logic My Account. Pay online, view bill history, schedule automatic payments, and more. Go to logic.ky/my account and pay online, not stand in line. Logic My Account. Go on. Give yourself a little extra time. Bake a cake, browse the web, yoga, spring clean.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
Good morning. Time now to take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 83%. The barometric pressure 29.96 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 8 knots. Overnight low temperature was 79 degrees. Synopsis indicate isolated showers along with moderate fresh easterly winds and rough seas will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours. As remnants of a shear line lingers over the Cayman area. Radar images show isolated showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the west. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s. Your winds will be east to northeast at 15 to 20 knots and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small crafts should exercise caution over open water. For tonight, partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 40% chance of showers and possible thunder, and temperatures will fall to the upper 70s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft should exercise caution over open water for tonight as well. Low tide will be this afternoon at 4 minutes past 12. High tide this evening at 6:27. The sun will set this evening at 6:54 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:49. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in cloudiness and showers from tomorrow afternoon as the shear line dissipates. That's the very latest on your weather report.
The 8:10 a.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Pan American International Insurance Corporation. Pan American International Insurance Corporation, meeting the life, accident, and health insurance needs of individuals and businesses to ensure financial security and peace of mind. For more information, call 949-8304 or visit www.palig.com. That's PALIG.com.
For over 100 years, more than 5.8 million people across the Americas and the Caribbean have placed their trust in Pan American Life Insurance Group. We have delivered on our promise and have proven that we are more than an insurance company. We are family. To learn more about our first-in-class individual and group life, disability and accident solutions, please visit Pan American International Insurance Corporation at Unit 221, Cannon Place East, North Song Road, Grand Cayman, or contact us at 949-8304 and visit us online at www.palig.com. Pan American Life, people you can trust for life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving your goals is a very rewarding feeling, but at times can feel very frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, tell a friend. Having an accountability partner is often helpful in achieving your goals. Let your parents and partner know what you are planning or doing. Sharing with others also helps us to develop the ideas and our vision. Writing down your goals can help to solidify them for you and help you to stay accountable.
Change your thinking and change your life.
Radio Cayman's Cayman Strong Series was brought to you by OnCourse Cayman. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. OnCourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit oncourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. OnCourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on our roads. Busy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway and also coming off of Agnes Way. And traffic also busy on Cool Road. Some sections steady. Coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, busy traffic as well. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive, and traffic is moving on moderately on Shedden Road, Hulda Avenue as well. As we look to downtown Georgetown, in front of the Georgetown Post Office, traffic moving on pretty good. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, moderate flow of traffic, and on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. Remember to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. Distracting driving, who's driving?
Things just got a bit hotter on Island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Visit Healthcare Pharmacy's second location in Governor Square, servicing West Bay and the 7 Mile Beach Corridor with the care and professionalism you have come to expect from Healthcare Pharmacy. Healthcare Pharmacy in Governor Square also stocks a huge selection of Hallmark and shoebox greeting cards, vitamins, sunblock, last minute, and everyday needs. To refill and transfer your prescriptions, simply WhatsApp 329-7313 or visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or drop by Monday to Saturday from 9 till 6.
The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist. Step right up, the second annual gala hosted by Rotary Central for the Alex Panton Foundation. Saturday, May 29th, Marriott Beach Ballroom. Step Right Up supports the Alex Panton Foundation, dedicated to serving and preserving young people through vulnerable times, mental health intervention, treatment, guidance, preserving precious life. The Rotary Central Gala, The Black Tie Affair with a Circus Twist, sponsored and supported by Wheaton Precious Metals, Nelson Attorneys at Law, Massive Equipment, Cayman Spirits. Rotary opens opportunities.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I want to remind you that our phone lines are open. Toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. We would like you to restrict your calls to what we're talking about this morning. Once my guests have left, then we will certainly have an open line for you to talk about other things. But what we're talking about this morning is extremely, extremely important to you as well. And what we are talking about is we're talking about the launch of the Seafarers Registry that's going to take place tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yes. And that discussion has taken place with the co-chairs of Celebrate Cayman, Ms. Marzita Borden and Mr. Alfonso Wright. And we have in the studio with us Ms. Kim Solomon, who's the project manager at eGovernment, and she's going to talk about the registry itself, the technical aspects of it, the work that has been done on that registry, and how you can go about accessing it as well. So why don't we pass the mic over to Ms. Solomon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. O.C. And good morning to everyone who are in your cars and making your commute to start your day or your Friday. First, let me just start by saying what an absolute privilege and honor it's been to be engaged on this project. As you've said, it's a matter of national importance. And as Marzita and Alfonso mentioned earlier, I mean, seafaring is core to who we are as Caymanians. So at eGovernment, we're about many things, but one of the primary objectives for us has always been to create a digital experience with the customer, and the customer, in this case, the user's experience in mind, and what that experience is going to be like when they interact with that particular solution or that application. So when we were engaged to work with Celebrate Cayman and on the Seafarers Registry, that was at the forefront of our mind in terms of the accessibility, the types of users that would be entering this information, making sure that there was limited scrolling, everything was visible, intuitive and easy to use. So that's one of the first things I want to highlight is the accessibility of the registry. It's going to be available online at seafarersregistry.ky. It's designed to be responsive on all of your mobile devices, so you can literally submit or suggest a seafarer to be added from the courtesy of or the convenience of your phone, your mobile phone, your tablet, your PC, wherever you are at any point in time. Okay. In terms of the ease of use, so we've designed it to be literally less than 3 minutes. We actually clocked it, I think, a few days ago. It takes less than 3 minutes to submit a seafarer. And as Marzita mentioned, it's crowdsourced, so we completely appreciate the reality that some of this information may not necessarily be documented anywhere. Some seafarers may not necessarily have living relatives to represent them to submit that information. So we didn't want to create any limitations or constraints that would prevent people from submitting information. So we limited it to very minimal required fields. I mean, you literally only have to know the seafarer, the individual's name, their primary area of contribution, so boat building, shipping administration, or just general seafaring. There's a general option as well. And then the last required field is their locality. So what's the district that they identify with at the time that they were out to sea? And in a matter of, as I said, in a matter of seconds or a few minutes, that submission is entered, and the moderator is able then to verify that information so that it's publicly accessible.
Okay. So if I have a family member and I am not sure whether or not another member of my family may have submitted that information, to avoid duplication, how do you avoid that?
So at this time, one of the things that, and I'm sure Celebrate Cayman is going to get to this, is the District Day celebrations. So we prioritize a lot of the features for this particular version of the registry because there are many features to come, and I will get to that.
Okay.
But we wanted to make it simple just to capture as much information as possible. So right now, the registry doesn't prevent you from submitting duplicates. So if the seafarer already exists and that individual sees them in the registry, but they want to add more information, they simply just enter that individual's name again. Once it's submitted on the back end, the logic in the database then identifies a match based on the name of the seafarer if they entered their date of birth, and then it will create or it'll merge that record to create a single record online.
Okay. And suppose I have a photograph of my loved one, and I want that to be posted on there as well.
Absolutely. So that is one of the features to come. Once it goes live, and hopefully all of you listening will take the opportunity to check it out and submit the seafarers that you know of. The online gallery is part of phase 2. So we are designing it almost to create like a social media profile, if you will, of seafarers. So I know many of us are fond and popular users of Facebook. So the seafarers will have their own individual profile. It's all about creating a story for them. So in overtime, you're able to submit photos, tag them, share it, comment, like, etc. That's not ready for this version, but we're absolutely working in the background on that.
Okay, so Mr. Fonso?
Like photos, OC, as well as license and other stories about the seafarer's life. It's something that we encourage as soon as we get to that next phase. So it's not there yet. Basic information is all we need right now to make sure we can identify and be able to honor as quick as possible. E-services, Celebrate Cayman isn't their only project, but we are grateful that they put us on the front burner right away because they saw the need and what it meant to the country.
Absolutely.
And they jumped in and they got us here in a very short time, and we are extremely grateful for that. I know there are a lot of seafarers who are a little bit impatient because we've been promising this now for a couple of weeks, couple of months, and they want to see things, some activity. But there's a lot of work that has to go into the background, to get this stuff done. You see the finished product, but it's like building a ship. It starts with a dream, with an idea, and then you have to design it, and then you put all the pieces and stuff together, and then someone looks at it and says, no, don't like that. You need to change the stern. You need to do this. You need to make it a little bit lighter, a little bit longer. And this is what goes on here. So when the ship comes off the dock and goes in the water, you see the finished product, but you don't appreciate what went on before it got to that stage. And this is what we're doing here now.
Ms. Marcita, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big takeaways we want people to have here is that when you take 3 minutes to include and share, submit information about a seafarer, you have helped us take leaps forward in preserving and recording our heritage and our culture. This will hopefully live on well beyond any of us. And there will be opportunities for individuals to learn about their ancestors who helped build the country. There will be people who will be able to make connections that weren't there before. We'll be able to unearth stories that we didn't know, because as puzzle pieces put together, we like to sort of think of this as we're putting the frame here on the puzzle or the picture, and then the public will help us form that puzzle, and we'll start to see what pieces are missing, and we'll search for them and fill them in to try to create this picture of the Cayman Islands. And I mean, separate aside from generations to come, even generations now, school children that love to do these projects that get family and friends engaged and they're learning about things, this is an opportunity for them as well to be able to easily access information about this. So it really is an opportunity to preserve and record and collect and teach and celebrate and identify and retain information about the Cayman Islands, specifically around seafaring history. But at the end of the day, what people need to know with regards to the registry is, at this time, phase 1, visit seafarersregistry.ky when it launches later today, and you can submit information on a seafarer. The basic information you need is the individual's name, their area of contribution, and like Kim said, there's a range of them. It's literally a drop-down list that you click and select, and then the area of the Cayman Islands that they are from or connect with. And if you have additional information, you can also submit that. There's things like the date of birth, if you have that and you're aware of that. What vessels they went to sea on. There's a list of vessels. We're really, really grateful to the Seafarers Association for providing us with so much great feedback along the way and information along the way. You can submit vessels, the highest rank the person achieved on that vessel, the year that they were on that vessel, and over time we're starting to create a database of, all the seafarers, and we can see here's who all the people who were on the latest Slater, and here are all the captains that we had, and here are all the people who sailed in the year 1960. So over time we really are just gathering information, and it'll take on a life of its own, and people will interact with it in different ways, but it really all starts with people taking that sort of institutional and own knowledge that they have and sharing it with us through the Seafarers Registry.
Okay, we do have a caller. We're going to take the caller, and one of the other areas that I want you to discuss as well is, and you've spoken, Ms. Marzita, about it, the Seafarers Association, because they have troves of information there, and whether or not you will be using that as part of your database as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the commercial break. We're going to ask the caller to hold on because it's going to be a short commercial break. When we return, we will take that caller. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes! Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Cayman kind.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals. And being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast, and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing the Seafarers Registry that's going to be launched, I said yesterday, but actually it is today that will be the launch of the Seafarers Registry. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning. It's a great news to hear about that Seafarers Registry. And listening to the narrative that's been going on, I have not heard anything mentioned about the military element. And in the Cayman scenario, the seafarer and the soldier are very, very closely connected. So I would think that in that registry, I hope that there would be an element or a section to where the military, that is the dedication, sacrifice, and so forth of these seafarers could be added, whether it be by their discharge papers or a narrative of how they served. I mean, one person that comes to mind, Andrew Henning, was drafted in the U.S. Army. He was off of his ship, drafted in the U.S. Army, spent about 2.5 years in the Army during World War II, fought his way from Normandy all the way to Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
I think 9 months.
So he was on a ship. He was on a ship prior to that.
Yeah, he was a seaman.
Okay.
After he was discharged from the from the Army, he went back to sea.
So I'm thinking there, caller, because this really is related more to seafarers than it is to other branches of the military. But if as you've mentioned, Mr. Henning was also a seaman, then the part of his military history could be added on to his bio. But I don't think at this point in time that it is the intention, and they're here so they can speak for themselves whether or not we've reached that part about, looking at other branches of the military. I'll let Mr. Fonzo and Ms.
Okay, no, a very good point though, Mr. Banks, and it's not that we're not looking at it, OC.
Mm-hmm.
It just hadn't been a part of our discussion going so far.
Yes,
but I can see where it ties in, and I think that we will make provisions for it.
Okay,
to make sure that happens, because that too, it's while we haven't categorized that in the listings, whether it's military or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's something that we should try to accommodate. So at this stage, I'll just thank Mr. Banks for his suggestion.
Just one thing here. Just one thing. Remember, all of the guys in Trinidad,
yes,
right,
were seafarers.
Correct.
And I guess 90% of them, when they completed the Trinidadian naval exercise, they went out to sea. They came back and sailed on the Armistice and the Adams and the Kawali and all these other ones. So I think it's an important connection as far as the Cayman seafarer is concerned and the Cayman military, because they flip-flop and back throughout their lives.
Yes, sir. We will look at that, Mr. Banks. Thanks for your suggestion, sir.
Okay, Bob.
We don't have this perfect yet. It's a work in progress, you know, and we'll get there.
And they'll be in touch with you when they're doing that as well.
Oh, he knows. He's one of the individuals in the district who's helping us to make sure we get all the proper names recorded and stuff. Yes. So thank you, Mr. Banks.
Okay. Now we know Ms. Solomon is going to have to leave us, so we want to make sure that all these technical aspects they're all covered before she leaves.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to go back to the crowdsourcing point, meaning that the data in the registry is obviously going to be sourced from multiple people over the internet. And some might be wondering, okay, well, you know, how can we trust the reliability or the validity of that information that's available? And also, how are we keeping that information secure? Mm-hmm. On the validity point, one thing that we haven't touched on is that there is a moderation process that happens. So once a Seafair submission is submitted, on the back end, first an email is going to go to that contributor with the confirmation for their own records. But equally on the back end of the system, an entry goes then into the database for the moderator to review. So once you submit the Seafair, in the first instance, it's not automatically visible on the registry just yet. Okay. There are various stages that the moderator is going to go through to make sure that the information is valid and also appropriate for consumption, just to make sure that people aren't having too much fun on the internet when they're submitting their Seafares or their suggestions. So the submission will go first into a status of submitted. Once a part of the submission, we ask you to provide at least one reference, and then hopefully, and are trusting that you've obviously consulted with that reference and they're okay with them being listed as such. So the moderator can contact that person to verify the information that it's accurate to the best of your knowledge and whatnot. Once that stage has passed, then it goes to an accepted status, meaning we've done a basic triage. And then once we go into further detail of the validity of the record, then it'll move into a verified status, at which point, once it's accepted and verified, it's visible.
Okay.
On the security point, so the technical architect on this project, so getting a bit technical now for some of the listeners in here, but we developed it using PHP on a Laravel framework. Why that's important to recognize and list is it is one of the most recognized frameworks that not only gets you a solution in terms of fast time to market, but it's built around very secure practices that simply prevent or make it extremely difficult for malware attacks and various security issues that you typically find with these sorts of applications. Okay. So we do want to mention that to put give some peace of mind to the users who are submitting the information, because we recognize a lot of people have that and have been holding on to it because, of course, there's sentimental value and it's near and dear. And we encourage, obviously, to keep that information and keep it safe. But now we have the opportunity to share it on a much wider scale in a digital format, so it's accessible to everybody.
Yeah, I think, Kim, that's a good point. And this notion of sharing, it's worth mentioning as well. We touched on it briefly, is that we're doing this in partnership with many organizations, and like the Cayman Islands National Archive and the team there have been working with us along the way. Of course, they have decades of experience with gathering and protecting and sharing and preserving publicly accessible information and data. And we are not duplicating efforts at all. The registry is supplementing the longstanding efforts of the National Archive. And so when people submit to this, they know that not only is your information going to be protected and it's going to be accessible, but it does become a part of our national collection of historical information. So there's so many objectives that are being achieved through the registry, and ultimately at the end of the day, it's a step forward in the preservation and retention and the sharing and the teaching and celebrating of our heritage and culture. But it all starts by identifying those bits of information, and that's where each one of us come in.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
Absolutely. One thing I also wanted to share as well is if, at any point in time throughout the process of the submission, and even if there are questions now, one of the contact information or the email address is info@seafarersregistry.ky. So even That email address is live now, but once the application goes live later this afternoon, if there's any questions about your submission or you're not quite sure what to do or how to do it, you can always reach out to that email address. There'll also be a tutorial video launching on Monday, as well as a promotional video. So lots of exciting things to come and ways to help people get the information on the registry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and if anybody is wondering what was the website again, it's seafarersregistry.ky. But in addition, today the Celebrate Cayman website, which people are familiar with and have been visiting for 3 years, that will be updated to again direct people and point people to the Seafarers Registry, help answer questions and stuff as well. So from this afternoon, seafarersregistry.ky will be your home base for the registry and accessing that. There's contact information on there, but if you want to send an email, it's info@seafarersregistry.ky, and celebratecayman.ky will have buttons to point and direct you easily to information about the Seafarers Registry as well from this afternoon.
And if we can remind our audience again, this first phase, what it is all about.
So this first phase is all about making it easy and accessible to collect the information in the first instance. In order to support the District Day Awards process that's happening later on this year, as Marzita touched on earlier, we wanted to be sure that we supported Celebrate Cayman in those efforts to make it easy to gather all of that data in bulk. One thing we didn't mention is that you can actually add up to 6 vessels at a time if you have that information for each seafarer. So all with that in mind to collect information about as many seafarers as possible so that they get the recognition that is so well deserved later on this year across the districts, both in Cayman and the Sister Islands.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know the third most important factor for customer retention is cleanliness? With 95% of shoppers saying exterior appliance influences where they decide to shop. Keep your business clean with Roper's Janitorial. From offices to restaurants, interior and exterior, walls to rugs and flooring. Roper's cleans it all, including 24-hour emergency service. Roper's Janitorial, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Dress your business for success. With Roper's Janitorial, we make your business shine. 949-2511, Roper's, providing products and services for better public health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
Cayman Drama Society's hilarious production of Noises Off by Michael Frayn, the funniest stage play ever written, opens on Thursday, 20th May. This PG-16 production will play Thursday, Friday and Saturday for 4 weeks, ending 12th June. Tickets will sell out fast, so secure yours today by going to www.cds.ky. Adults are $25 and students $15.
This Saturday, May 22nd, the vaccination challenge is heading to Cayman Brac. Join Minister of Tourism and Transport, the Honourable Kenneth Bryan, and Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honourable Sabrina Turner, at the Aston Rutty Medical Wing from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a meet and greet with the community as you get vaccinated. And remember, anyone being vaccinated through June 9th will be entered into the Vaccination Challenge prize draw for prizes, including airline tickets, staycations, and more.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Ms. Solomon, the project manager for e-government, has left us, but in the studio still with me, Ms. Marzita Bawden and Mr. Alfonso Wright. And one of our listeners has written in and said that many seamen have their discharges from the ships that they sailed on. That's proof that of their seafaring record. Comments on that?
Yeah, of course it is, and these are the things. Some people, they can let us have those copies of those, and they can be posted. They can be uploaded onto the website as well. Mm-hmm. We'd like to be able to do that. Mr. Andrew Eaton, one of the executives over at the Seafarers and one of the Cayman's youngest chief engineers, has sailed on probably 24 ships. And he has his discharge, all of his documentation from every ship, that he's been on and off. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are a few other people out there who also have that kind of information, and we want them to share that with us. That's living proof, and it'll be there forever.
Yes,
Speaking to that, OC, my boss, Mr. Samuel Rose, like us to call him boss, but he refers to this project as something, this will mean to us what the Veterans Association in the U.S. means to them. Mm-hmm. This is our Arlington. This is the thing that the bedrock for the Caymanian society, the building block for our country.
Yes.
And seafaring heritage, that is. And we want to make sure that it is preserved for years to come. And while we encourage people to make sure that their information gets into the system, I would like for people to think of the community, the seafaring community, and try to remember all the people that they sail with, or they knew that went to sea, mm-hmm. and to find a way to make sure that information also gets into the register, not just their own information, but make a list, sit down and think of all the people, all the Caymanians that you sailed with or you knew that went to sea, and somehow get that information to us. If you don't have the information on those individuals, then we will do our best to try and find that. But this is not going to all happen in one day or 1 year. It's a living process, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But we need people to understand that we have space for it. We want to put it up there, and it's important for us to get every single seafarer that we can remember up on that register.
Okay, and if we can go back now and talk about the information that you already have. So if I had a list of persons who sailed on a particular ship with me, and to avoid duplication, will I have the ability to go on to the registry?
I'm going to let Marzita speak to this.
That person's name is on there.
I can let Marzita
so that I don't.
This,
yeah. Okay. So when you visit the registry and you say, all right, let me see if we have Mr. Ian Tibbetts in there. You will do a search either by Ian or Tibbetts or Ian Tibbetts, and you will see that, yes, there is a record for Ian Tibbetts there. You may view that record because now the moderator has confirmed that the information there is appropriate for public consumption. And you will see that record. And you'll see that there is mention of him sailing on the Simboko as a ordinary seaman in whatever year, 1970, right? So you'll say, okay, that's great, but I also have additional information. All you simply do is click to register a seafarer. You put in Ian Tibbetts, you put in as seafarer, you You put where he was from, and which if you don't have that, somebody else already has that. So you just put that same information in, and then you add some of the other vessels that you know he participated in. So when you submit that, the moderator of the registry will see through our processes in the background that here we've had multiple submissions on Ian Tibbetts, born on 5th of May, and he was a seafarer, and he was from Creek, and we're going to combine all the information submitted from these many individuals to make one profile for Ian Tibbetts.
Gotcha.
So we don't want you to say, well, oh, they've already submitted information on Alfonso, or they've already submitted information on OC, so I don't have to do it. No, you probably have more information to go ahead and submit it. And honestly, if you see that the information that you have has already been provided, but you think there might be other information that you can get at some point down the line, go ahead and still submit, because then we have your information as a point of reference that we can also reach out to you at some point to gather more information. And we just want to be clear that we've also been in consultation with the Information Rights Unit around data protection, and there's clear information on the site too. The purpose of this information, you give us permission to contact you with more questions, etc. So we've made sure that we've gone to great lengths to protect the information and about everybody on the Seafarer and who's submitting. I think during one of the breaks you queried as well, what about people who've submitted information already through the National Heroes Day process, for example. So the information around seafarers who have passed away, their information will be in the registry. Again, if you're hearing this and you think, okay, well, I submitted for my dad who has passed away, and so I don't need to submit again, still go to the registry and have a look there. But in the case of seafarers who were still alive or who are still alive, we will be reaching out to the people who submitted those nominations to get confirmation that the information can be used in this instance for this purpose.
Okay.
Because someone's information, once they've passed away, is treated differently from a data protection perspective versus an individual who is alive. So we will be reaching out to people, but just because, again, you submitted something for National Heroes Day doesn't mean you still don't go check it out. We want you to go and check it out, because if you submitted someone for National Heroes Day, then that means that seafaring is likely connected to you and your family in some meaningful way. That means you care about the celebration and protection of our seafaring heritage. So we want you to check it out. And if you have a list of seafarers and you want to put information in, make yourself your cup of coffee on a Saturday or Sunday morning and sit down by your computer or take your phone and start to put it in. If you need some help, ask have a family member or a friend who likes to type to the computer and dictate information to them and share that information. However we can do it, again, as Alfonso said, we know that we're not going to hit goal, if you will, in one day and not even 1 month, because the legacy of the seafaring community is so vast that it's going to take time, and we appreciate that, but every single submission is another building block and piece of that puzzle.
Okay, I think we have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Osi.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
And good morning to your distinguished guest.
Morning, sir.
Very, very important subject. To myself and to many others, older humanities who remembered the forgotten ones. I had, of course, submitted information on my father, but I did tell him at the time, into the Seafarers Honor thing. Disappointingly, my father wasn't honored. Captain Jar by the first Doncaster. Mr. Banks did bring back some of the things that I would have, but I need time to sit with someone and do it, because there's a lot of information, it's obvious, that you all are lacking in. A lot of important information, not only of my father, but there are others. The families are still around, grandchildren and so forth, and some children are still around, like that Monty Dixon and so forth. But there are things my father did that it would take time involved in the sea from 1914 until 1965 when he got a stroke and Ford Westland had to give up the seat. But there are many important things that talked about going to Panama and working, because my father's a master shipwright also. He had both licenses. I have them. Things like that. He went in the Panama at the big yacht basin that Mr. Jimmy Ford had there. Of course, he came to Cayman and built one. Had a yacht club here too, where the Wharf restaurant is now and all that. In much later days, my father was in 29, and I know there are a couple of Cayman Brackers. This is a long time ago that had gone over there also. I think there was one Cayman Bracker, carpenter's master.
So caller, you're saying that you need the assistance in compiling this information?
What I'm talking about is I can't send something on a website or some of that modern paraphernalia. I wanted to know if there's somewhere I can come and sit and talk with someone, arrange a time that's convenient to them and to me also, because I have to work. But to sit on top, because it takes time to go through the many, many different things, weird aspects of my father's life I can speak about. And it's a very intriguing, very interesting thing. All the days when he went up to the Carolinas on the big 5-mast and 6-mast, did sailing, seal hull sailing vessels, 1918, 1919, and so forth, as a young man. And all that information. There are other Caymanians who did it too. Might not have been many, but there are others. I don't have no names of the vessels and stuff like that. But I thought those things should be mentioned because it's important on what my father did while he was in Jamaica for the British government.
And those are the things that they want to capture. That's exactly why they're here, because they want to capture those.
Listen to the seafarers thing, but that, as I said, doesn't not even cover his time. I think it's important that those things are mentioned, and there are others, like I said, of our forgotten seamen, because he covered every aspect of it: shipbuilding, teaching navigation, captaining, sailing vessels, rigging them, and inspecting boats, wooden vessels for the Jamaican government. He did it during the war and after. For free, and he took many Caymanians over there to give them jobs with him, would come over to Cayman Brac, especially for group of fishing, and take men back as he came to do some group of fishing. I said, where are you captains are, because you're going to need a job on there. There's seamen needed over there.
Yeah, Mr. Halston, if I can make personal contact with you, I'd like to take this offline. I understand what you're saying, and I'm thinking of ways that we can find to accommodate what you're asking here. It may not be exactly in the format that you're suggesting, but we have some ideas ourselves. And I will make contact with you personally off air and take this further with you. I promise you that.
Okay, caller, I want to thank you very much. Top of the hour, headline news, 9 o'clock. Please stay tuned. The conversation with Miss Marzita Borden and Mr. Alfonso Wright will continue after headline news.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 434 COVID-19 tests on Thursday. All were negative. There have been over 76,000 COVID-19 vaccines administered locally in the Cayman Islands. These recent results include 125 vaccinations performed on the sister islands. A ceasefire between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas in the Gaza Strip has come into effect. The ceasefire began early today, bringing to an end 11 days of fighting in which more than 250 people were killed, most of them in Gaza. Palestinians poured onto the streets of Gaza soon after the truce began, while a Hamas official warned the group had not yet let down its guard. Both Israel and Hamas have claimed victory in the conflict. And international pop star Lady Gaga has revealed she suffered a breakdown as a result of sexual assault that led to pregnancy. The star was 19 when she was raped by a male music producer who had threatened to burn her music if she didn't take off her clothes. She says her alleged rapist then, quote, dropped me off pregnant on a corner because I was vomiting and sick. Years later, she said she had a, quote, total psychotic break and was in an altered state of paranoia as a result of the trauma. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. The discussion about the Seafarers Registry is launched today. It's taking place with Ms. Marzita Bawden and Mr. Alfonso Wright. Ms. Marzita, I think you wanted to respond to the caller, previous call as well.
Yes, and we really appreciate the call, and we are eternally grateful to his father for his service to this country. And what we want people to understand and know is that this is a multi-phase project, and the registry in its first instance is capturing basic information around seafarers, and we're going to use that information to recognize them at the district level later this year. However, in future phases of the registry, there will be the opportunity to add more rich information, including photos, copies of discharge papers, more detailed information around their careers, and so forth. That said, to just reiterate the point that Alfonso made before the break, is that we know that there are some information, or is some information that needs to be captured in alternative formats. And we've been talking and thinking about and exploring possibilities for capturing that information and making sure that they are captured in a way that continues to be accessible to the public. And what we don't want is to gather information, but then there's no way to share it, and it's sort of kept behind sort of lock and key, if you will, because the point is to gather information for the purpose of public consumption and sharing and learning and teaching and researching, etc. So yes, the registry in its initial form is simple, and it's simple by design, and it's intentionally so because we need to capture this information for the district level celebrations happening later this year, if our public health circumstances permit that to happen. And then in future releases later at the end of the summer, later at the end of the year, we'll have more features on the registry which allow more rich information to be contributed. But again, we appreciate the call and the insight, and really, I mean, the notion and the sort of sentiment that we have throughout everything that we do is we're really so grateful to seafarers for their service. And this is a sort of call to action today to anyone who's hearing us, is we encourage you and challenge you that every day this year and beyond, when you encounter seafarers and have the opportunity to connect with them, simply thank them for their service. Say thank you for your service, because they did indeed serve this country. They sacrificed a lot for this country, and it built this country, and who we are today is absolutely as a result of the service of seafarers. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Mr. Alfonso?
Just carrying on from what Marzita said, this is a mammoth task, and it's one that will live on for quite some time, and we want to do our best to capture all the information. We don't want to leave anything out there that should be in the system.
And people need to understand that it's not restricted to national bulk carriers or the other. It's all of our seafaring history.
Absolutely. So it's going to take time, but we believe that people are also, there was quite a bit of excitement and anticipation in the air about this whole thing, because we've been talking about this for a while, and I believe that there's genuinely good-hearted interest out there in our Caymanian people in wanting to get this done, and so it's going to take time. So as the suggestions come in, I don't want people to believe that we're either putting them off or not thinking that their suggestions or information is not important to us. It's just a lot to soak up at one point, and we have a lot of following up and stuff to do. But the general drive right now is for basic information. But we don't want to take the risk of information also getting lost because we're not ready for it yet.
Yes.
and that's what we're trying to work out now for people like Mr. Mickey, and there are other individuals as well who want to give us information now that we're not quite ready for. So we're working on that, and we'll get to them as soon as we possibly can. OC, can I ask you a question about your seafaring years?
Sure.
Can you off the top of your head name 10 Caymanians that you sailed to sea with?
Well, I was only on one ship.
Okay.
But yeah, I can. It's probably at least close to 10 who were on that ship with me. Yes, that I could name.
Right, and that's kind of where we want to go. Is I mean, I did that.
I even have a photograph with some of us.
There you see. Now there, I see a few photos that my father had at home with his days at sea with other Caymanians in it, and again, that's another connection. That we want people to pull out all those old photographs.
Okay.
And we should be able to find a way to capture them as we go along as well.
We have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Hey, morning, Doc. How are you?
Good morning. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you this morning. And good morning to your guests.
Good morning, Dr. Macfield.
Very interesting. I would just like to make a comment to... not only did people go to sea, but they also made sea history. Most of them. I guess you have the record of Captain Walton from Cayman Brac, and his problems down in Colombia when they seized his vessels, and he couldn't speak Spanish, and he left there. All his men were put in jail by the Colombian government, and he left Colombia to try to raise funds to. Because in those days, they had to pay their own room and board in jail. And he couldn't speak any Spanish, like I said, and the British government didn't help him because they had no diplomatic relations with Colombia. And he came back home and went to Jamaica and went to other places where Caymanians were and raised money and went and fought the case himself. And in the end, he was awarded $10,000. And I think he was in the town hall here in Georgetown. I think it was 1914 or something like that. That the commissioner gave him an award, and there's also the record of Captain Wardell Rankin and Captain Leroy and Captain Leroy Watson from East End.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first black people in the world to be captains on American flag ships. And they've been captains of some of the largest American ships. Of the Grace Line was one of some of the largest ships at the time, and they went into South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Leroy Watson was his captain at the time, and Captain Wardell Rankin was his chief mate. And they went into South Africa and Cape Town in the apartheid days. And when the customs immigration came aboard, they went up into the wheelhouse, and they were up there, and they said, "We're looking for the captain." And they said, Captain Leroy said, "Looking at him." And they didn't understand what he was saying. They keep saying, "We're looking for the captain." And Captain Leroy Watson said, "You're looking at him." And that was in the newspaper in South Africa. These two black men who were mastering one of the largest ships, American ships that float. Both of them now are deceased. And I hope that only some of their families now are alive. I think some of their Captain Leroy's family live in New York. Captain Wardell Rankin's brother, one of his brother, Alfonso Rankin, lives here, and he's still in East End. He's retired. And we need to get all those things before the stories get lost. And unfortunately, Captain Leroy died, by accident with his own boat in East End some time ago. When he was anchoring his boat, I think the rope got around his feet and pulled him under. And those are some of the stories. I have so many different ones that I have gathered and recorded over the years.
How do you have them recorded, Dr. Steve?
I have them written down.
Okay. Well, I think this is one of the areas that we want to explore. Either voice recording, or if you have them written down, to share those stories with us. And you referenced earlier when you start speaking that you sure we have those stories. We don't. And somebody has to submit the stories. Somebody has to bring them forward for us. You talked about the captain down in Colombia. I've been doing some research recently in around the time of us forming our first government back in 1831, and I've been seeing records there of Caymanian ships also being held in Cuba back in those days. And all that information is still out there somewhere. And, I see a couple of captains, name of captains and stuff like that. But I wonder if there's anyone else who have information about those people from way back then, because they were seafarers too. They were involved in turtling and so on, even back then. So there is a tremendous amount of information out there. Cayman has a long history of seafaring. And it is our duty to do our best to make sure that we have it, we capture it, and have it recorded properly.
There's about Cuba, the gentleman, the captain who kept the lifeline between Isle of Pines and Cayman alive for all of those years, Captain Crosby. He was on the Gravina, and if you saw when I was young, I thought the Gravina was a big ship, and when I see the Gravina, she was no more than 45 feet long. And she brought up passengers and freight and bananas and plantains and sugar and stuff to Cayman. And that was the lifeline. The Gravina was the lifeline between. I have pictures of the Gravina and all that sort of stuff.
Are you willing to share them with us? Will you be happy sharing them with us?
Yeah, I shared them.
Okay.
I did a expose on Captain Tom Diaz's voyage.
Yeah, we have that. We have that.
To
Yes,
London.
Sir. Yes, sir.
And I don't see it promoted much. I was hoping that they would take some. I have many copies that maybe they should distribute them in school and get someone to talk about that. And now that the last person in which had contact with him has deceased, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. It becomes even more important now that this great Caymanian captain, young Caymanian captain, had such an adventure in his lifetime. And but it takes time, I guess.
It does take time, but time isn't waiting on us.
Well, yeah. I believe in time. But I don't see. I believe in time that I don't see time. I don't see age. I don't see age time. So to me, 30 years ago is like tomorrow, like yesterday.
Yes,
So
sir.
anyway, those stories, and then there's Captain Arnold from East End. When he shipped went aground in East End, they say that's where East End has got lumber to come out of thatch houses to have board houses, because they say you could walk on the water on the lumber that was floating in East End and lower in the bay. All of those stories, are very, very exciting and so forth, and we just took them for granted.
Yes, sir.
But they're part of our foundational history, really.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I don't know anybody. I don't know any traditional Caymanians whom that he didn't have someone who went to sea.
That's right.
So true.
That's right.
Doc,
Okay.
I want to thank you very much. Have to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com, or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
I grew up in a Canadian village with a general store that had just about anything you could ever need. That's what I'm reminded of every time I go into West Bay Pharmacy. It's not just because it's well stocked with necessities and oddities, but also because it's like our community hub. The staff treat customers like friends. Ron and the team of pharmacists have kept my family patched up and flu-free for years, and there are usually a few good laughs mixed in. They are truly taking care of my health and my family's health. West Bay Pharmacy is the very best of Caymankind.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britke Insurance, Health, Pensions, Life, where people come first.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with us, folks from Celebrate Cayman, co-chairs Mr. Alfonso Wright and Miss Marzita Borden. Before I throw the mic back over to them, I just want to again repeat one more time for Miss Laura Henry. Happy birthday greetings coming from your mom, Miss Georgette, and Celise as well. So Laura Henry, your Miss Georgette, who's your mother, wishes you a happy birthday, and also Celise wishes you a happy birthday as well. I have a curiosity, and this may not tie in with the registry itself, but it has to do with historical records. We know, for instance, that the Brits were sticklers for keeping records, and you, Mr. Fonzo, you both and Ms. Marzita have done research in Jamaica, and I'm sure research will be done in the UK in relation to shipping records and stuff. But we mainly shipped out from the United States as far as national bulk is concerned. And when those companies closed down, do we know whether or not they kept any sort of archives in terms of or how we could go about getting crew lists and stuff like that from those days?
Some I've in doing some research myself,
Mm-hmm.
I've come across quite a bit of information out of New York.
Okay.
Was it the New York Post? It's one of the older newspapers back in those days. And also the Jamaican Gleaner.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen things, for instance, OC in the Jamaican Gleaner, of they had a section in the Gleaner that recorded all ships going and coming from Jamaica, where they were coming from, where they were going, and sometimes they were actually recorded, the crew and passengers.
Yeah.
But it don't seem to be something that happened religiously.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And there is some stuff in the British archives as well. But how extensive it is, I can't tell you, but it is an avenue for us to explore. That some of that stuff may be out there. I have come across some of it. I actually saw OC when the Galleon Beach opened. Maybe it was because we had some important foreign guests here, but the entire guest list of people who were invited to the opening of Galleon Beach is published in the Jamaican Gleaner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of our listeners wanted to hear more about the launch, and their question had to do where, what time. So I think it's important for us to explain what the launch is about. It is more electronic than a physical launch taking place anywhere. Ms. Marzita?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. Again, this Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry, and we call it Seafarers Register for short, but it's found at seafarersregistry.ky. And that site goes live, so it launches this afternoon, just after 4 p.m. this afternoon. So make plans this weekend if you have 5 minutes to sit and record some information. But it's listed online, and that's where it is. Now, in June and July, we plan to go to visit each of the districts, and the public will have information around that and where we'll be and when we'll be, to give people the opportunity to come see us, to ask questions about the registry, to get support with uploading information to the registry, and really helping to celebrate the fact that this resource is here. Obviously, we have to do so within the public health constraints that we have and that sort of thing. And we will obviously do whatever we can to keep everybody safe. And of course, the seafaring community and seafarers themselves are, of course, one of the most, the population that we, of course, always have to protect. And we will continue to do so, of course, through anything that we plan to do. But if someone's talking about a live in-person interaction, you can look for those happening in June and July in each of the sort of traditional districts across the Cayman Islands. But today, from after 4 p.m., you can visit seafarersregistry.ky, and you'll be able to access the registry, see what information is there. And again, it's just launching today, so you're going to see several hundred records in there, but it's obviously not going to be complete, because every single person, whether in the Cayman Islands or overseas, because we appreciate that there's lots of Caymanians living overseas. There are people who are connected to the Cayman Islands in some way living overseas. It is online. It is accessible by anyone, anywhere, and you can upload information there. You do not need a special account or special technology to do so. The same device that you use to access the internet is what you can use to upload information to the registry. And again, it can be as simple as simply the seafarer's name, the area of contribution that they worked in. So that's shipbuilding, boat building, shipping administration, seafaring, turtling, etc. And the area of the Cayman Islands that they were from. But you can also add things like date of birth if you have that, the vessels that they sailed on, the rank that the highest rank achieved, the years if you have that information. But if you don't, no worries at all. So it really can be as short as just a few minutes to a bit more time if you have some more information. But it's seafarersregistry.ky, and it goes live this afternoon after 4 p.m. And we will be visiting the districts in June and July to give people the opportunity to come talk to us, ask questions, see, register, check it out, get some support perhaps, that sort of thing. So you can look out for that if you're looking for an in-person experience and to interact with us that way.
And what about the information that may already be, that site may already be populated with, like for instance, my name, if my name were there, Ort Connor, my ability now to be able to go in, access the record for Ort Connor, and what am I able to do then, and when will I be able to see that? Again, Ms. Solomon spoke about the various verification processes and stuff like that, so that people don't have immediate expectations.
Right. So great question. So the information that's submitted to the registry, when you submit it, you will immediately be able to see that that seafarer's name is in the registry, but their status will simply be submitted, and you won't be able to view any information publicly.
Okay.
That's because once that record is received, and you'll receive a confirmation email with a unique code for that seafarer's submission, the moderator of the site will be just checking out that information to make sure that it is appropriate for public consumption, that it all looks legitimate to the eye. Then, once it's accepted to the registry, the information will be visible online. So if I went back in now and searched Ort Connor, I'd be able to view that record of information. But it simply is accepted to the registry. Again, at some point in the future, and that should happen within 3 business days of submitting to the registry.
Okay.
Then once that information is there, the registry moderator will take the steps to verify that information. That's where the reference that was submitted becomes helpful. We use already accessible public records to perhaps verify some information. And once that's done, the submission, which is already visible online, will change from simply being accepted to the registry to verified. So that means that we have a high level of confidence in the reliability of that information. Now, how long a record takes to get verified, again, depends on anything from how easy it is to reach the reference, how easy it is to access information. So a record could be accepted in a registry for several days or several weeks until it gets verified, but then it gets verified. Now, if you went to the registry, a record is there saying accepted or verified for Orritt Connor, but you have additional information to submit for him, you can submit another record for Orritt Connor, submit the information that you have, and then it's for the registry to again take the information you provided through the same acceptance and verification process, but now the record for Orritt Connor gets merged and all the information submitted by the 2, 3, 30 people who submitted information for Orritt Connor gets merged together and into one record for Orritt Connor.
Okay, and there's a unique identifier for Orritt Connor.
And there's a unique identifier for Orritt Connor, but also there's a unique identifier for every submission that came in for Orritt Connor. And the benefit to us at the registry, and why we really do want people to submit whatever information that they have on a seafarer, is because then we automatically will have a point of reference, several points of reference for that seafarer. So if 5 people submitted information for you, Mr. O.C., that tells us that there are 5 individuals out there at minimum who we could reach out to gather additional information from you. These are the 5 people that, in addition to the public, we're definitely going to go to them and say, hey, phase 2 of the registry is now available, where you can add photos and discharge documents, that kind of thing. So you're alerted right away and have the opportunity now to go back to that record and add additional information. So we're not only creating this registry of seafarers, we're also creating a network of people who have information about the seafarers as well.
Excellent. Good time for us to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
It's time to buy smart. It's time to buy Ropers. Find everything for your home and kitchen at low prices at Ropers, your neighborhood store. Value, integrity. Ropers also offers complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time. 122 Industrial Way, 949-2511, or email janitorial@ropers.ky. Clean up your spending with Ropers and stay prepared. 949-2511. Ropers, providing products and services for better public health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, K-Man's Kitchen and Bath Center.
For the record, with Orritt Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orritt Connor. Continues right now on Radio K-Man.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Miss Marzita Borden and Mr. Alfonso Wright, they're still with us. They're going to be with us until the next commercial break. We're talking about the launch of the Seafarers Registry taking place tomorrow, 4 p.m. And it's really an electronic launch to allow you to add additional information in relation to yourself or your loved ones, either still alive or past, so that we can get a true, complete history of seafaring in the Cayman Islands. You get the opportunity to write your own history. This way, no one can get it wrong if it's coming from you and the information that you have. It may not all be done in one full swoop. It may take time because this is a huge, huge project. And it doesn't make sense for us to look back and say, well, why didn't we do it earlier? We're doing it now. Mm-hmm. That's what's important. Mm-hmm. Back over.
Yeah, so thank you for that overview, Mr. O.C. And again, if you're just tuning in, hello, happy Friday. We're here talking about the Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry, or just Seafarers Registry for short, we've been talking about. And what is it? It's a searchable national registry of seafarers, which contains information about seafarers and their contributions to seafaring, which means that for the very first time, the Cayman Islands is on its way to having will have a public resource dedicated specifically to capturing and cataloging information about individual seafarers. And in case you're wondering, well, why is this important? Well, you see, history truly gives us a sense of belonging and helps us shape our collective identity. And having access to that key information of our national history helps to reinforce that national identity as well. So the Seafarers Registry really is an additional effort of the many efforts happening in the Cayman Islands to safeguard and celebrate our heritage and culture. And so the Seafarers Registry has been designed and developed to record truly invaluable information on individuals who help to build the Cayman Islands. So it's a resource that will help the people of the Cayman Islands to identify, retain, preserve, research, teach, and celebrate our heritage and culture. And it'll be great for us today, but for future generations, they will have an opportunity to learn about and experience and discover more about our island's unique culture as well. And the Seafarers Registry, it is crowdsourced, and so people have the opportunity to interact with it in a range of ways, from submitting seafarers with as little information as the individual's name, the area of contribution, and the part of the island that they're from, to more rich information now, including the vessels that they sailed on, their rank, and the dates that they sailed in this initial phase. And later phases, we'll be able to collect photos and documents and get more rich information about their seafaring career. Similarly, because these information is being provided by individuals, you can also search the information in the registry and learn about individuals that have been provided, see if you have something to add, and therefore create a new record to add information, which will then be merged with existing records. And it's all online. And it's online because we want it to be easily accessible by people, not just to contribute, but to search. We didn't want people to have to be in a particular location, whether in the Cayman Islands or in a particular building, or need particular tools or resources. It's using the internet that we all have access to, the mobile device in your hand, the computer on your desktop or on your lap, the tablet in your hand. Seafarersregistry.ky is the address. And it's accessible from this afternoon after 4 p.m. And you'll be able to take 3 minutes of your time. And by doing so, you will help to preserve the culture and history and heritage of the Cayman Islands, specifically as it relates to seafaring.
Okay. Can you mention again the whole area of data protection and the steps that you have taken to ensure that everything is kosher?
Mm-hmm. So if you missed the segment with Kim talking earlier, Kimberly Solomon is from the e-government team. And from a technical standpoint, the programming language that they use to develop the site is one of the best in class and best practice languages to use because it makes the registry really resilient against malware and attacks and that sort of thing, which is really important when it comes to people's information here. But with respect to data protection specifically, we have worked very closely with the Information Rights Unit to make sure that our practices and policies around the gathering and the protection of people's information is in line with the Data Protection Act. And similarly, we've been working with the Cayman Islands National Archive as well, a public entity that collects and protects people's private information. There is a privacy notice and privacy policy on seafarersregister.ky when it launches that an individual can read that in detail, and you will learn about, again, what the purpose of that information that you're providing is, what it will be used for, where it will be stored, who has access to it, how it will be used, etc. And when a person contributes information, they have to agree and understand that a representative from the Cayman Islands government, Seafarers Registry, will be in contact with them about this, etc. So we have a very detailed privacy notice on the site that has been reviewed and approved and signed off by the Information Rights Unit to make sure we're compliant in that regard. And so an individual can review that prior to making a submission to make sure that they are comfortable with providing that information, because we recognize it is people's personal and information, and we want to protect that and preserve that, in addition to the simple fact that it is information of a historical nature and public interest. And so we want that, and we want to make sure that people can feel confident in submitting this information, because we want it to be used for the purpose that it's being used for, and people to understand what that is and how their data is being protected.
Okay, Mr. Fonzo. And at some point in time before you leave, I want you to just tell our listening audience what can they expect next? What's next on the calendar?
There are lots of things coming up, OC. Just reiterating what Marzita has said, the technical jargon, that's not my line. Leave that for the younger heads. But yeah, we want to encourage people to make use of this opportunity right now, and let's get as many people in the register as we possibly can. In the early stage, phase 1 is extremely important to us, and then we move on to the additional phases of this. Yes, it's happening at a good time. There's no time like now. Yeah, these things could have been done earlier, but I believe they happen at the right time, regardless of the regrets that we might express. Is when it happens. So I want to encourage people, start putting your thinking caps on, dig out that information on your loved ones or your relatives or your acquaintances, and those of you who are still with us, we want you to make a list of all the fellow seafarers that you sailed with or that you knew that went to sea, and help us put those names together. We are organizing groups within the districts who will help us consolidate lists in the various districts, OC, and we can use that information to also build inventory as we go along. So we will advise you of who those people are and how you can get information to them if it's simply a name that you know went to see, but you may not have any additional information. And we build from there. I want to say, OC, that in the next phase, I want people to also bear this in mind, that there are simple things that we may not consider important now. I delve a little bit in Ancestry.com. And in some of my searches, for instance, I came across my father's first trip to sea, his landing card in Miami, the plane, the airline he went on, the flight number, and the time, and it says it makes reference to the fact that he was going to join a ship, kind of thing, on a landing card. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
And I also found that from my my cousin, his first cousin, Roberto Seymour, who would be, we talked about Mr. Calvin Seymour a while ago, his son. And also I found that same card for my Uncle Lemuel from East End, going to sea. And you may not consider that as an important thing right now. If I said to you, or see what date you left, why you went to see what airline you were on and so on. But your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, that is such important information for them on such and such a day. Grandfather, great-grandfather did this, did that. I'm going off on a little tangent here.
That's okay. But listeners love to hear that too.
But I'm also doing some research on the history of our vestrymen right now, and in one of the records that I uncovered just this week, I was telling Marzi that I spent a couple hours over at the archives, and in searching these records, I came across a piece of paper where back in 1878, they were appointing what they called them district commissioners. These were people in the outer districts. Their responsibilities was actually tax collecting. So they were actually tax collectors, but for some reason they were calling them district commissioners. That name seemed to have stuck with Kim and Bragg. And one of the district commissioners was a gentleman named John Patrick McLaughlin, who is my third great granduncle. Wow. And so you understand how I felt when I uncovered that, because I knew that he was in my family tree. Yeah. And I uncovered that he was an important part of the community at that time. And this is the kind of thing that I want people to understand, that while it may not seem like it's an important thing for us right now, it's a preservation of the history for later years for our loved ones that we're leaving behind.
Yeah, because if we keep trending the way we are in Cayman, we're going to soon be a minority in our own country.
Yeah,
so
that is so important.
Extremely important.
OC, there's a couple of things that are happening. Can I mention? There are some things that are going on for us right now. You remember that last year, in honoring our women who signed the original petition to give women the right to vote, we had plans to honor them last year, but because of COVID, we had to put that aside. So that is something that's going to be happening between now and December as well. It's going to be and we're hoping to bring some of this together in the district visits, because that's all about districts where we're actually going to honor these women in the districts in which they sign their name. You also know that we have the government has agreed, and it's actually done now, that a portion of South Church Street, North Church Street, and the entire Harbor Drive was designated Seafarers Way. Yes. So that has been gazetted. That's there for the public. The official renaming of that now is a date that we are also working on, that we're working on for next year, for next month. Sorry. I see Marzita here stuck went up there. And June 25th is the day of the Seafarer. It's a Friday. And we are actually making tentative arrangements to have that done on that day. I can't give you any more information than that right now, but that's what we're working towards. But we'll give the public enough notice that we will do some official opening of the new harbor Seafarers Way.
Excellent. And we didn't make up Day of the Seafarer. The United Nations for decades now has designated the 25th of June, and our local press, they've done a good job at staying connected with the Seafarers Association and Veteran Seamen Society around their own activities every year on the 25th of June. But of course, this year, in the year of celebrating our seafaring heritage, we have, like Alfonso just alluded to, we have some celebrations of our own happening to commemorate that date. So when we say Day of the Seafarer, it's not something that we have just created. This is the United Nations designated day as well. So if anyone wants to, they can look up online and see how the United Nations has commemorated that day for decades now, and some of the things that have happened in the Cayman Islands around then as well.
Yeah, and OC, we're still under COVID restrictions. So we have to manage crowd size and all that kind of stuff as to how we go about getting this done.
And if people want larger crowd size, they need to get it and be vaccinated.
Exactly. Absolutely. Very good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know you folks have to leave. I want to thank you very much. And we're very grateful that you always use Radio Cayman and our platform to get to our people here in the Cayman Islands. So thank you very much, folks. Please stay tuned. When we return, I will give you some shipping news from the 26th day of May, 1966. Local shipping news here in the Cayman Islands. So please stay tuned.
When I was growing up in Cayman, Sundays was always a big day for our family. Everyone would go to Granny's house for Sunday dinner after church. Even today, I can still smell the aroma of all the delicious food we used to eat, especially the hot, fresh baked bread smothered in butter, topped off with our favorite pan cheese. These days, I don't have enough time to cook and bake, but I do my best to carry on the Sunday tradition of family meals, and being able to get hot, fresh bread with no preservatives or additives from Caribbean Bakery is a big help for me. Shh, don't tell them, they still think I baked it. Caribbean Bakery, now delivering every Sunday to McGrath's grocery store in Eastern Avenue and Marina Drive. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
The Green Turtle app. So many options. One easy solution. All new subscription feature to automate your weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly top-up. Makes your life easier. Never lose a number again. Keep your children on budget. Yes. Make sure you can stay in touch with your loved one. Woohoo! No hassles. Green Turtle makes it easy. Take a ride on Cayman's Green Turtle Express. Download the Green Turtle app today. It just makes life easier. Remember, you can get mobile gift cards for Xbox, PlayStation, Apple, and Spotify delivered right to your phone. Playtime is now in real time.
Honey, our fridge has stopped working again. Everything in the freezer is melting. We need to get this repaired right away. I'm calling Brand Source Service.
When you need the very best appliance service, call Brand Source Service at 623-5000. Offering service and installation of all brands and models of appliances. Brand Source Service is Cayman's source for appliance parts and repairs, with qualified and experienced technicians and the island's largest stock of appliance parts. Brand Source Service will have your repair completed in a flash. So, whatever the problem is, call the experts at 623-5000. Brand Source Service, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Telephone 623-5000.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have about 10 minutes left in the show. We do have a caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning, my friend. How art thou?
Oh, you're good. Oh, God, you're good. I shut him right out the door. Oh, I'm good. I hope he's listening. He should have made the car by now. I just want to tell a little story about a Caymanian.
Okay.
We would have looked at him and called him Cayman Waste because I did so for quite a long time myself. But it was after the storm, and this older gentleman was, going by some of the local stores, picking up a tin of sardine in the morning or the evening, eating it with some hard crackers from Jamaica and drinking it, washing it down with some Hennessy or something, and that was his meal, and everybody was, had an opinion about him, including me, and it wasn't a good opinion. I remember seeing him one day surrounded by a bunch of young men. They smoking their herb, and he passing it out to them, drinking their Hennessy's and their beers, and I detested him. Every time I saw him, I wanted to actually hit him. And I don't know how I got to talk. I don't remember how I got to talking to that old man. But that old man, I'm so sorry today that he's passed and I can't go see him anymore. And he was I would think he was more
I would call him merchant marine type person rather than, you know. But anyway, and I saw him in that condition, and like I said, began to talk to him, finding out that he spent some time in England off of a ship, and I can't remember. I think he used to ship out from there, do little short runs up in Europe. That's how my understanding at the time, without asking too many questions. Because, you know, sometimes when you begin to ask them questions, you shut them down. So my thing was, if he got in the flow, to just let him talk. Anyway, in that association or that acquaintance, I learned that this man had money that he could be living off of after the storm, sitting down in England. No place to go and really sort it out, or no understanding of how to get it sorted out. Anyway, I got, it wasn't high up on the cells and the IT. You could still go to the phone box and punch in something. And I called England, and I asked someone where to go to with this information. I wanted this information. They gave me numbers, and I called England, and I gave him his name and the relative. Well, the time he said he sailed, it might not have been quite exactly, but, you know, they could make something of it. They told me to call back, and I called back. I don't think it was a week. It was a short period of time in my mind. I called back, and that man, yes, indeed, had money sitting in England for his retirement. He was here living like a rodent, and he had money sitting down in England.
Wow.
And for Funzo, I believe that would be a good place to begin to search, because you might find more than that, just him there. He had a daughter, and when I see you, I'll tell you, he had a daughter. I don't know if he was married or not, but he had a daughter. None of us, I don't think, unless it was family, would know that he was married and was a father as well.
Wow.
So just to say that much is lost. And, you know, Alfonso, I heard you about the little gifts you were giving me, but, you know, I'm not interested in none small. I still waiting on the big one, but I can take that off your hands and give it to somebody else. But just to say that you talk about depth, I don't think we in our generation is going to get to that, because we do have depth when it comes to our seafaring heritage. And I'm so proud, and I think many of them don't like us for that, because we ball. If you don't do anything else, Cayman will ball at that.
Yeah. We have something that stands out that they can't share in at all. Yes, they can't take that from us.
And I, you know the good part. You and I knew them, some of them, and if we didn't know them, we heard about the elder ones. So, you know, we know them, and as long as I'm alive, I'm not going to be quiet. And I'm a grandmother. And if I don't pass on anything else, I'm going to try for that one.
Yes, definitely.
But anyway, I would suggest to Funzo that he may be talking about, you know, England keeping records, so on and so forth, as you had mentioned.
No, he does a lot of extensive research. He's actually been to Jamaica and did some research over there as well, and I'm sure that they will do more. All we have to ensure is that Celebrate Cayman, that office continues to function. And that is not...
I think we're learning a little bit of sense.
Yeah.
And I don't see the government that could shut that down, because they wouldn't be a government much longer, because we still waiting for that recall business, you know. But anyway, you know, I just wanted to share that.
Thanks.
Like I say, he was a man that, you know, not many people would want to talk to, let alone look up to. But when I began to talk to him, I found a different person. And like I say, I so wish today that he was around, that I could go pick his brain a little bit sometime.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for that.
Nice day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Shipping News, 26th of May, 1966. The MV Kirk Trader arrived from Jamaica on May the 16th with a full load of general cargo and cement. After discharging on the 19th of May, she sailed for Tampa, Florida. Now, if we were talking about the Kirk Trader, in today's date, coming from Jamaica. It would probably say loaded with a lot of deportees, a lot of cars coming from Asia. But in the 1966, it had a load of general cargo. Also, the MV Vivier G arrived from Key West, Florida on May the 21st with a full load of building materials and furnishings. Her deck cargo consisted of 3 cars and a station wagon. So it didn't come on the Kirk Trader, but they came on the MV Vivier G. The entire cargo was consigned to Mrs. Frances Miller, who will build her home along the West Bay Road. Her builder is Mr. W. Borden. That would be Mr. Will Wallace Borden. And the architect is from the United States. And then it goes on to say on May the 13th, the last of the refugees from Cuba were sent to Jamaica to be processed and sent to the United States. On the following day, another boat arrived with only 3 aboard, even though it was a boat that could have brought many more. These will be cared for here and in due course be sent to the United States. So, in those days, yes, the Cubans were brought here, then sent on to Jamaica to be processed and sent on to the United States. Those with expectations of that happening these days, that is not the way that it works now. The United States are not sitting there with open arms anymore for you to come there. And when you come here to the Cayman Islands, we have no ability to send you on to Jamaica, and we shouldn't be sending you on to anywhere else unless you are legally immigrating to another country. That should be our stand when it comes to refugees. But these shipping news, almost every publication of the Trade Winds newspaper would have news about shipping, either national bulk carriers or local news as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. Miss Laura Henry, you have a very happy birthday today. And again, that's coming from your mom, Miss Georgette, and also from Celise. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. Caribbean Bakery, made Cayman fresh.
Also brought to you by Ropers Enterprises, 122 Industrial Way. Products and services for better public health. Green Turtle. Take a ride on the Green Turtle Express today. Download the Green Turtle app, the future of mobile, saving lives today. The Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, and by West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Isolated showers along with moderate to fresh easterly winds and rough seas will continue across Cayman for the next 24 hours.